There we go. We are live. Dirty Talk episode 5. Wasting no time at all. I've all told you who's on. It's no surprise. So, from the luxury of somebody else's workshop, looking very dapper, here he is, the extraordinaire, talented, two-wheel genius that is Billy Bolt. There he is. Billy,
hello.
Can you hear me? Hey up.
I hope we are.
Hey up. You're all right. I see you've got Eduardo in the background there.
Yeah, we're at the Kex headquarters. Just
some of us are working.
Yeah, we're pretending he's done nothing. If there's going to be a camera out, I'm going to pretend to start doing some work.
I know what it's like because he makes out obviously that he's always really busy, but I suppose he's a man that makes things happen and gets others to do the work for him. Is that right, Ed?
Look, this show's not about me; it's about Billy.
Then why are you in it?
Because I was working and he's in the way.
Nah,
okay.
I give him his credit. He does do a lot of work. He's been doing a fair bit of work for me the last few weeks, so we'll give him some credit.
Well, he has indeed. That's a good place to start. The video. Let's talk about that because that. Listen, I'm gonna have to give him praise. He stood there in the background. Obviously, what you did was phenomenal. We'll get onto that in a minute. But I've forgotten that Ed was still a dab hand on the old camera.
Yeah, he brought it back for
he was back for one night only.
So, how long did that take to make, and whose idea was it? More importantly, was it yours?
Yeah, a bit of all sorts, really. It kind of all just merged together nicely. We started building the track late last year, September time, and then just for one reason or another, the track never actually got finished before the start of the Super Enduro season. So I left it. I went to Spain, did all my training in Spain, and got obviously that done there. And then, unfortunately, the last round of the championship got cancelled due to the pandemic or whatever. So we missed the last round, and then once lockdown started to ease a little bit and we were allowed to travel again, we said, we might as well, there's no racing happening, we might as well get this track finished. At the same time, I said, we've got nothing to do, why don't we try and do a video or something cool just to showcase the track. Because we kind of didn't publicise it too much that we were building it. A little bit to start off with, then we thought, we'll keep it a secret, and then when it, not a secret, but we'll keep it quiet, and then when it's done, and we'll do a video on it, and everyone will be like, the track's pretty sick. And then with the last round being cancelled, I thought, let's try and make it pretty special. Obviously, I won the championship, so make my own last round more than anything. So get some floodlights in, do it at night time, get it like in the arena feel. So all kind of played in nicely, really. It all just tied together to the plan came together, and we got the track finished, got some lights in, and just made it happen.
Now listen, this sounds bad now. I've watched it. First of all, shameless plug. Where can people go and see this video? Really?
It's on the Kex YouTube page. What is it? Just Kex?
It's on kexunderwear.com.
It's on kexunderwear.com. But if you go on any of my social medias, it's linked or Ed's. You'll find it one way or another. I think if you just search Billy Bolt in YouTube, it'll come up as well. It's the one with loads of floodlights and fireworks.
It's awesome, and this is where I'm not going to eat humble pie. I suppose I'm having a way, but I was I kind of had a vision in my head of what it would be, but I think you've both excelled yourself. Obviously, your bike skills are ridiculous. Tommy Searle and the likes will tell you, no doubt, that they've taught you a few things. By the way, talking to Tommy Searle, I see he had an Instagram post this week of doing a bit of a fender bender. Was that him, or was that you and his kit, or have you taught him to do that, or did he flip it?
I've been teaching him. No, I've been teaching him. He's getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, he's had a lot of.
It's a good job he's supported by Polysport, and he's got plenty of rear fenders.
He had a couple of incidents, but he is getting there. He's getting better.
He is getting there. So, listen, I want to just talk a little bit. I don't really know the enduro scene that well, but obviously, in the last seemingly to me, let's say decade, it's probably less than that. the whole thing's just gone up a level with the skill set, the likes of yourself, Jarvis, you know, Johnny Walker, all that. It's so unbelievable what you're doing. It's basically almost like a hybrid now of enduro and trials. This super enduro. I mean, it's mental what you can do. Does that come from any kind of trials background that you had? Or how did you get into it, for that matter?
Yeah, I think if you look at the riders and where we've all came from, well, the large majority of them came from trials in one way or another. I did trials all my life, from 6 until 18, 19. Didn't ride an enduro bike at all until I was 19, I think it was, 4 years ago.
That is nuts.
So I think, yeah, you could say trials as a large, takes a large proportion of where it comes from. But I think now also, though, with the extreme races, the speed element is definitely there. And the in between all the difficult sections, the pace is right up there with this, you're going as all those top riders are reasonably fast riders, and we're going as fast as we can go. So it's definitely, like you said, turned into a hybrid, definite mix between the two. I think to start off with, when it was really getting popular, when it started to build in popularity, it was the difficult factor was there, and it was, the trials riders would just dominate because they were the only people that could finish. Whereas now it's kind of like it's gone into its own sport. Really, now there's techniques and there's the way it's developed is you need to be good at everything, and especially to get to the top, you need to be as fast as you need to be fast, and you need to have the trial skills, or you need to have some combination that meets in the middle pretty well.
So I know it's pretty new, but I'm going to go back to what you said at the start of that. 4 years, Billy. Jesus Christ, 4 bloody years. Some people take obviously a real long journey to become a world champion. Not only that, to learn the sport. Let's say Olympians, I suppose, and all that. You only started doing the bloody sport 4 years ago. How did that come about? Was that, did you just get a bit pissed off and just fed up with trials and had some mates that were doing enduro? How did it all kick off?
Yeah, I'd always, since I was a kid, to be honest, I'd followed enduro, motocross, MotoGP, speedway, trials. Like, I was just completely motorbikes mad, to be honest, and I'd followed everything, and I'd seen, obviously, but all my life, all I'd ever rode was trials, and I did, it was my dream to be, Dougie Lampkin and go down that route. Towards the sort of later years, I'd say probably from when I was about 14, 15, I'd seen, Graham was starting to take over, and then Taddy and Johnny came along. So I'd always thought it was somewhere where I would head. Initially I thought it would be later on in my career after I'd finished riding trials, but just, I got to the point where I was doing pretty good. I was getting some podiums at like world junior level and stuff like that. But that was 2015. I had some podiums at world junior level, and it just didn't really materialize. I didn't really have a ride for the following year, or I just about got by the year before from sponsors or friends helping out and stuff like that, and there was just not really an opportunity, and that wasn't financially sustainable to do it the next year. So there wasn't really any opportunities. And sort of towards the end of that last year in trials, I'd had a few just frustrating rounds and some bike problems and some observer disagreements, which tends to happen in trials. But when you think about it, it's so much to be at stake on someone else's decision or interpretation. When it goes wrong, like when it goes against you for like a few rounds in a row or whatever, you start to think, no, it's no good. It's not where you want to be. So towards the end of that last year, I just became a little bit lost from the world level, and I started to not see a career in it anymore, really, and not see a future. And all I ever wanted to do was ride a motorbike. So that was the initial switch over. Like I said, I was expecting it to be a little bit later, but I had a couple of pretty big people came along towards the end of that last year in trials and said, I think it's about time you made the switch. yeah, so that winter, December 2015, I borrowed the money off my mum and bought a bike, and that was it. Went from there.
I love it. It's a great story. You got the most appropriate name for doing all that super fast stuff. I mean, it's not really a name that's suited for trials, is it? Really?
No, and I think, well, for what few people have said, I don't think I never fully my riding style was never quite 100% suited to trials. I think that was right. A couple of people stepped in and said, I think it's about time you switched over. And, I got, a lot of good help from good people, pretty early on and guided us in one way or another and put a lot of time and effort into us in that first year. And, thankfully it paid off and I had a ride with Husky on the factory team for my second year.
It's incredible. I mean, and here you are 4 years later, a world champion. So let's talk about that. I mean, obviously the first round went off. You clearly, done all right in that because you won it. As far as I can make out, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the only real round, wasn't it? Have I got that right?
No, we got 4 out of the 5 rounds.
Oh, okay. She was missing the final round. Right, okay. So, yeah.
We had 4 rounds. We had one in Poland in December and then one in Spain, one in Germany, and one in Budapest, or Hungary. And then the final round was due to be in Poland beginning of March, just as all the coronavirus started to escalate, and it got cancelled, postponed initially the Thursday beforehand, and then a few weeks later they said, we'll give it to you.
So, okay, so how long was the delay? Because when they said, how long was the delay from the last round being postponed?
Probably, I can't remember off the top of my head, about 3 weeks, I would have said.
What was going through your mind in those 3 weeks? Was there any they're going to abort? I can't believe they're going to abort the season. I don't believe. Was any of that?
I thought, with 4 rounds out of 5 being complete, I thought there's not much chance. I thought that they would come to some conclusion. And I was 18 points in the lead, so I was reasonably confident if it wasn't going to be cancelled. I was good, to be honest. I was really keen for the last round, and it was in Poland, and obviously Taddy's being the king of Super Enduro for so many years, and there was like a lot of my friends and family due to go out, and I was feeling good. I was excited to go and get the job done in Poland, and it was it would have definitely been a night to remember. But so initially, I was just gutted that it didn't get to take place. And then, as time went on, most people were saying, it'll not happen. No one knows what's going to happen. Like, it was just a bit weird, really. But yeah, once we kind of realised the severity of the COVID and how serious it was going to become, how serious it did become, it came, I think everyone was kind of expecting it to get knocked on the head and get the championship to stay. But yeah, I think my result was definitely, I don't think anyone was really complaining that the championship went to me. I'd won the 3 out of the 4 rounds and had a decent lead.
Well, there you go then. So that's fair. It's like you said, though, it's a shame you missed out on a damn good piss up in Poland.
I think it definitely would have went off in Poland.
That would. I'm sure Ed's got some Polish stories to tell as well. We all have, haven't we? Really, but probably not ones that we can't talk about on air. Okay, we've got a question come in from Gary. Hold on, let's get up on screen. It's just easier. There we go. Gary Nicholson. Ask him, that's you, not Ed, does he think he will annoy some of the long-standing MX lands when he beats them coming up from a trials upbringing? There you go. Gary's confident in your ability because you're racing this weekend, aren't you, at Hawkstone for the Michelin MX Nationals? Have I got that right?
Yeah, no, that's right. Just something to do more than anything. There's not a lot happening. I'm hoping my first round of the WES, which is obviously the Outdoor Enduro World Championship, is going to be at Hawkstone in September. So again, all tied in nicely. I've been riding a fair bit of motocross the last few weeks anyway, just to keep on it, keep my speed up, and then I see there's Hawkstone was their first round, and stuck an entry and see what happens. So,
have you got a mechanic for the weekend? Because I was on hand at Apex to help you out with a bit of chain lube.
Yeah, I have got one, but there's always a spare shirt. There's always a spare cap and a shirt if you want to come and join.
Right.
In.
Okay.
Yeah, we can find you.
I'll jump out of the commentary box in between motos and just, because I know obviously now
Chains,
you're a world.
just check the chain's got enough lube on it. I think that was the rule.
Well, now you're a world champion as well. I mean, I know you're a humble guy, but really you're above all that. That's where you need the bloke in the background coming along.
I did a cup race last weekend, and I washed my bike. It was that heavy going. I washed my bike 7 times over the course of the weekend. But don't worry, I haven't let my mechanic know that at all this week. That I've washed my bike 7 times at the weekend. 7 times I had to wash my bike.
Well, obviously we're looking good at the weekend. Now, listen, watching you ride at Apex, seeing some pictures, one thing that you have got going for you, I would have thought from a motocross perspective, is line choice and being able to put that bike on places on the track that other motocross riders wouldn't think of. I'm just thinking about Hawkstone. There's quite a few little built-up corners and bits and pieces. I'm looking forward to seeing if you find any sneaky lines. Obviously, I saw you a couple of corners and sections at Weston. What did happen at Weston, by the way? I never did find out why you were, because you were almost like a lap down before it started. What happened?
Yeah, the fuel line, the dry brake it's to this day we don't know how it was unclipped, because it's not even like someone could have done it, because the bike was running on the start line. It went from the holding pen to the start line. And as I arrived to the start gate, just nothing, just the bike cut out, wouldn't start. Obviously, I didn't want to keep pressing it and burn the battery out. So I was literally the first guy at the gate. So I had 1,000. I stood still, not knowing what to do with I just had an operation on my leg about 3-4 weeks before.
That's right, yeah.
Scar tissue up some nerves, so it would heal, but I mean it hadn't rode a great deal, and I'm there with it stood out, just waiting for 1,000 people to come clip us as they go past. I'm just I don't know what to do, so I just started waving my arms and trying to make myself as big as possible, balancing on my good leg, keeping my bad leg up out the way, and I pushed it into the pits. Obviously, it wasn't a big fix. I did actually have an attempt at myself of pushing it in together, but obviously I don't know if there was a bit something in there that wasn't letting it click together properly or what, but the mechanic, I think he unclipped it and clipped it back in, and it fired up, and I set off about 4 or 5 minutes behind by the time because I had to obviously wait till everyone had set off, because some people's, if their bikes hadn't started in the holding pen or whatever, they were coming across the start line at a fair speed, and I'm trying to push my bike in the sand across the line. So yeah, absolute.
That first hour was probably. I've been to a fair few Western beach races now. That first hour was like the equivalent of, I don't know, James Stewart's sort of comeback at Budds Creek regards of Western Enduro terms. I mean, mate, that first hour, it didn't seem to me, and I couldn't see the whole circuit, of course, you weren't getting held up anywhere. You were just going everywhere and anywhere as long as you weren't being held up. I mean, it was brilliant to watch. And again, that's, I guess, your bike skills help you so much in an event like that.
Yeah, I think definitely when back markers and even, to be honest, down to, I think once you're in, you do get into a bottleneck or somewhere where there's all back markers are together. Just negotiating and getting your way through queues, I think, comes quite well with the Enduro boys. We seem to be able to get to the front of queues quite fast. I don't know, I've noticed that goes well. And I was just, to be honest, I thought I was pretty chilled despite the what had gone on. I just thought I might as well enjoy it now, see what happens. It's been, a good weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed everything about Weston anyway, so it's been a good weekend. Let's just see what happens. And then I had to come back in the pits again because my camelback wasn't working. Something had gone wrong there. So I came in at the end of the first lap and ditched that and said, I'll fix that and I'll pick it up on my first fuel stop. So once that got out of the way, I had no water, no drink or nothing for that whole first hour. I just got my head
down. What did they fill it up with after that? So they made it a bit more hard.
They ran back. There was a spare bladder, and I think they just completely reset the system. But I don't know what was wrong with that. all the dry brakes that were on bike or equipment didn't want to work for some reason on that day. But I just got my head down and cracked on and picked the lines. And Weston, it gets quite rutty and quite boggy almost. It's almost like you're riding a moor in some place, which obviously from trials in the extreme endurance, it's a bit of me anyway. So I enjoyed it, just getting in amongst it, getting the shit, and seeing what happened. And
that was that your first one? Again, apologies.
I did it the year before, 2018. I came third.
Yeah. But that pace last year, I mean, so now if it runs this year and your confidence up and everything like that, you're pretty much going to be starting as one of the favourites all the time now. But you don't seem to be bothered about that. I haven't known you very long. I first spoke to you at the Arena Cross. We spoke there for a bit, and straight away you came across to me as just like, it's just all like, water off a duck's back. You don't seem to get yourself to, just each day as it comes, and you just do what you do. And a lot of people some riders need to sort of get hyped up to do well, but it seems like you're not that type of character. Would that be right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I'm pretty. There's my team and those around us would probably say there's times when I'm fairly irate and I can get quite excitable, but stuff like
hold on, stop it there. Ed, did you hear that?
I've got to admit, asking about the first night we did some filming, because the bottom lip come out big time on the first night. I wasn't too happy with my performance that night. But
come on, what happened?
I just wasn't too happy. It wasn't.
No, it started off with a crash. We'd been up there less than 5 minutes, and I'd forgot the camera lens, so I said, "I'll just nip and get the camera." Come back to work. He's turboed the bike.
I just wasn't too happy with how I rode. But to be fair, I came.
Are you serious? You've watched that video back, and you're being
the next morning, because we rode until who picks the middle of the summer to do a video in the pitch black? So we were riding till 1, 2 in the morning. Then I came in for breakfast the next day, and I started looking at the clips. Ed was he'd been up since, I don't even think he'd slept, to be honest. He was that excited with the clips. And I came in and looked at him, and I thought, okay, maybe it was a bit hard on myself. But yeah, I mean, and stuff like Weston and like this weekend and stuff like that, it's because it's not it's not, I enjoy it, but it's not technically what I do. It's not I wouldn't class it as what my job is. Like my job is race the Enduro, Super Enduro, Extreme Enduro. So that to me is just for fun. It's obviously I want to do well, no matter if I'm up at Ed's filming a video or if I'm racing on the beach. I want to do well, and I put pressure on myself. But I mean, there's no pressure really at stuff like that. So I like those kind of events and scenarios where I can really enjoy it. And just have fun. I like those. I usually go to Weston with a few of my mates that help out in the pits and my mechanic, and
that's a better way to do it. Because at the end of the day, that's what Weston should be, shouldn't it? Really.
Yeah, a couple of days get drunk and we're going to slog it out for 3 hours on the beach. So they're what I really enjoy. That's what what I do for fun anyway.
Yeah,
it's my weekends. That's my weekend more than anything. But I don't want it any other way.
Well, I'm looking forward to this weekend. We'll get onto that again in a minute. We've got another question from Nigel Harris this time. He asked, does Billy feel the 4 rounds of the Wes series will suit him? There you go.
Well, first of all, our championship, obviously, there's been all the rounds to this far have either been postponed or cancelled. So they've initially made a provisional 4-round series starting from the Hawkstone cross-country race in September, with 3 more extreme races after that. So yeah, I guess you say with one classic cross-country race and 3 extreme races, it's obviously going to favour us extreme riders. And I think Hawkstone, all being well, should suit me. I missed it last year because of my leg, but 2 years ago I got 3rd behind Nathan and Garcia, which for me I was really, really happy with. That was probably one of the turning factors of the 2018 championship, the year that I did win that. So I'm looking forward to it. I think Romaniac's being the final race of the year in October. I think that's going to be absolute hell. Nothing other than hell. I think it's not raining, it's going to be snowing, and I think it's going to be...
Oh, man.
The days are pretty short that time of year, so we're going to have lights on the helmet. And I dread to think about that, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, I think all in all, it should be... for me, it's pretty good. I think the first 3 rounds, definitely, I'm very excited for, and I think I can get a solid result. And then, Romaniacs is a race that I think I find the most difficult by a long way. But, you know, I'd planned it. I'd even started, because they didn't tell us till like the last minute earlier this year that it was going to get cancelled. So I'd done probably the most training that I've ever done before Romaniacs earlier this year. You know, I really put a lot of effort into it. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off then. We didn't get to race, but you know, that still won't go to waste, and I'll be putting the work in for it. So I think it'll suit us compared to some of the other guys.
You must be feeling good, though. Obviously, I know that's a really daft question, really, but you're a world champion. Has that just boosted the confidence levels a bit more, without obviously keeping your feet firmly grounded? But you know, do you feel like you've kind of like your confidence has gone up a level because of it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've just had a good amount of time. You know, obviously, I was feeling good end of 2018, just before I did break my leg, and I had 6 months off the bike the beginning of last year. So I had the time I've had now. I've built, you know, my fitness is back to where it needs to be, and I feel, you know, really good. My riding, I'm happy with how things are going. Obviously, the Super Enduro seasons went pretty much to plan. And yeah, feeling good. Just a shame there's no races to go and do, and you know, really prove that at the start of the year, you know, really well. Even the outdoor races, the 2 British Championship rounds we had, I won both of them. So yeah, feeling and riding really, really well. Just like I say, a shame that there's no races to be doing. But you know, I think I'm doing all I can to maintain where I am, and if not improve the bikes in a few areas where I can. Yeah. So I'm feeling.
What about motocross, Billy? Do you feel like you've learned a bit, or even more than a bit, doing a bit of motocross and going out riding with some of the lads, you know, like Billy and Carlton and those guys that you were up at Apex the other day? Obviously, I know you ride with Billy Tommy quite a lot. So, you know, how is he helping you?
Yeah, no, I think it helps massively. More than most people realise, to be honest. Even for the extreme stuff, I think it definitely helps and assists you. And yeah, I've just been enjoying it. I've enjoyed the learning side of it, and starting sort of from, not obviously from the bottom, but from definitely a lower level. In you know, especially with the super extreme and technical races, there's almost like we're kind of developing the techniques and the ways to do things. Whereas when I get on a motocross track, is like, all right, there's basic principles that, you know, you need to learn, or you need to get your head around before you can be safe, or you can go fast. And I was definitely dodging a few of them my first couple of years in Enduro, and I was crashing quite a lot. But you know, I've enjoyed it. I started at the end of 2018. Our final round of the WES was Red Bull Knockout, so I did a lot back then. In the sand and stuff, which is where, you know, I really first started to learn and understand it. And then obviously most of last year was a write-off with my leg. So it's been good to use the time now to get back to where I was and where I was at before my leg. And I'm feeling good. I'm enjoying it. I've definitely got improved. Even in the last sort of few weeks, I've noticed improvements and stuff like that. And the times are getting faster, and I'm getting closer, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it. Something new, something fresh.
Is your leg injury, is that why your leg keeps coming off in the air and you keep doing? Because you got it. To be fair, mate, I'll tell you what, those knack-knacks are coming on pretty good. I want to see some of them at Hawkstone this weekend, if possible.
They were quite good, actually. Ed was videoing, and he wasn't even happy that I was doing that jump anyway. He wanted us to do it on the last night.
No, tell him.
No, don't have a domestic there live on Facebook.
He doesn't tell the full story. He found that jump in the dark 30 minutes before we started filming. Went, look, there's a transfer there.
And anyway, I had the lip out that I was even going to try it. And I had a few goes.
But you're so glad that he did now, aren't you? So he's won you over on that because it's added to the video.
Shut up a minute. I had another go. I had a few goes, and then I did one, and I could tell he wasn't really reacting. And I said, "Watch that one back on it." I knew he hadn't realised I did knack. I said, "Watch that one back," and he's watching on camera. He just looked up and he did knack, you fucking idiot.
After that, I would have thought Ed.
And he's like, "Yeah, it's all right." Banders because it got quite rutted on the takeoff because it wasn't. Right. We literally just seen that jump earlier the day. That wasn't made to be a jump at all, so it was quite soft. I had a few more goes, and it got too rutted, and he banned us from doing it for the rest of the night. He said, "You're not doing that anymore."
I would have thought, Ed's good at his marketing. He always has been. Obviously, that's why he started that underwear for Kex and doing well. I'm surprised he didn't say, "Look, get those race pants off and get doing a knack in a pair of my underwear." Not literally his underwear, his brand. Obviously, that would just be wrong. I'm surprised he hadn't done that. But anyway, it's an amazing video. So I'm sure, hopefully, that would get a load of hits. So, right, let's talk about a bit more about Hawkstone this weekend. So I know you're going to go there for a bit of fun. You just want to ride and whatever. But you don't have to answer this if you want to be coy and casual about it. And I know you don't put pressure on yourself, but realistically, where do you think your kind of place?
To be honest, I don't know. I've literally done 3 motocross races in my life. We did the Two-Stroke Festival last year. I did a club race 2 weeks ago, and I did a club race last weekend. And I was kind of hoping to sweep.
Hold on, stop! I'm going to stop you there. Now you rode Havrig last weekend, didn't you? Was that where you were at?
Yeah.
Now come on, the result was pretty tidy.
I was kind of hoping to slide into Hawkstone pretty under the radar, and then I did quite good last weekend, and then everyone's sharing the result in the lap times all over Facebook, and I'm like, oh no!
You made a rod for your own back.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Obviously, last weekend went pretty good, and there's some quite good guys there. But I really don't know. I think if I qualified at anything else, I'd be happy with, because I looked at the list and I'm like, to get 40 riders out of this 60, it looks quite well. I wouldn't like to be pick 40 riders out of that 60 anyway, or however many.
It's going to be a stat class, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, I'm not inexperienced. Yeah, last week went well, but that was literally my 3rd ever motocross race without, taking a big ride.
It only took you 4 years to be a world champion. So I think
I'll definitely go better the second race when it's a bit rougher, I think. Going off how last weekend went, the lap times and stuff, everyone else's lap times got slower each race last weekend, and I was getting faster each race.
Well, you're going to the right track then to do that. I've just pulled Martin's question up, which is, there you go, Martin. Billy's perfectly answered your question. Similar thing, really. He just wanted to know what your expectations were.
Yeah, there's no goal. I just want to, go away and feel like I've, made a good account of myself, and I've, I'm going to put it all out there and do as best I can and do that. Like I say, whether I'm riding at Eds or whether I'm, racing in the MX National or whatever. But I really don't know. And I think there's a lot more riders that would normally be at an MX National there this weekend, with it being the first big thing kicking off. So position rider, honestly, hand on heart, wouldn't know.
Well, we're gonna find out in about 48 hours or more, or a bit more than that. So we're gonna
find out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited. Because it's a pretty. I've only rode there a couple of times before, but I've enjoyed the track. I've enjoyed everything about it. I missed obviously my actual round of the championship there last year because of my legs, so it's nice to get a bit of time on it. And if things go well, and I think I can get some reasonably good results. But honestly, wouldn't be able to give you a position, even if.
Well, as long as probably what should we just say? Just to wrap it up on that question, should we just say as long as you beat Tommy Searle, you'll be happy?
Yeah, I've been telling him. He was here earlier. I think I've got him pretty nervous anyway. So.
He will be. He'll be shitting it. He'll be absolutely shitting it if you get anywhere near him. He's got a load of experience, but he'll still be scared. He won't want that.
Yeah, the last race at Avrig on Sunday, and obviously it was the last race on the Saturday where I had the faster lap time than him in the race. So the last races of the day were clearly a thing for me, and we got out first and second. And I'd stuck reasonably on him for a good while, longer than I had done all weekend, and I thought, this is it. Like, come on, if I get, within a bike's length in a corner here, he's having it. Don't matter if we're in the same route, different route, or whatever. I'm gonna make my personal. And then I took the front all by myself, crashed completely on my own. But he said afterwards, I kept turning around and just seeing you, and I'm like, what is going on? It just doesn't make sense.
He's got, to be fair though, Billy, he's got the age card he can use now because he's knocking on now. So that's what he'll throw at you, I should imagine. He'll go, well, what do you expect? I'm knocking on the wrong side of 30. So he's probably right now jotting all his excuses down, and he'll get a load of abuse from the keyboard warriors that he always seems to get.
Yeah, I've noticed that, to be fair. Like he
doesn't deserve
a lot of negative comments and
don't get it.
Nah, because I've seen, he puts, even when I started hanging out with him, to like, from when I didn't really, I knew obviously I'd followed him since I was a kid. I'd been a fan of him or whatever. And then when I started knocking about him, like, it even blew me away how much work and how much effort he puts in and still puts in.
Yeah.
And I just thought, these people haven't got a clue what they're on about.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
It just shows the amount of people that just really don't have a clue of how things work or what's actually going on. It baffles me.
It is amazing. Not that not to the level of you guys, but obviously, race to world championship level. And there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes that people realize to get to that level. So I don't know why he gets his knockers, but anyway, he set them straight when we did a man in the van thing. So good on him. He's been our most successful rider, obviously, for a number of years. So good on him. I've got another question for you myself, actually. What about America, Billy? Do you go there in the off season? Is that a different sport altogether over there with, the GNCC thing and all that? Is that something you look at doing, or do you go there to train in the winter, or what? Is that?
No, I've never actually been to ride in America. I would like to. There's the Enduro Cross, which is like the equivalent of our Super Enduro. It's pretty big over there. It's quite a big series.
Yeah.
But it usually happens in the summer, like middle of their summer, well, August, September time, when we're usually pretty flat out with extreme races. So it is, but it's something I would definitely like to do. I think in the future I would like to go and do a season there, doing their indoors in the indoor series. And the JNCC, again, it's another thing, bit different to what I'm used to, but if I am getting a bit more motocross experience and mixing it a bit more with the faster guys, again, it's something I would love to do. I would jump at the opportunity to go and do one, or to go and do a couple, but it's never really came up. A couple of the smaller extreme races, the outdoor ones, have tried to get us there, but for one way or another, it just hasn't materialised. But it's definitely something that I wouldn't rule out and would like to tick off the bucket list anyway.
Yeah. That's good. I'd like to come and see you over there. But of course, I just hope that you end up going to Poland again sometime soon, because I wouldn't mind, if possible, jumping on that trip and coming over for a bit of a boys' jolly.
Definitely
that's fun.
Turn Poland upside down if got that opportunity. Got to relive that there. Nice.
I've got no doubt about it. Listen, it's been great chatting to you. It's been good to see Ed working away in the background as well. I won't hold you up much longer. I know, obviously you busy men up there doing your things. Where is he?
He's sat tossing it off in the corner.
Is he?
He's done his
now
work.
watching it on Facebook. Watching himself.
I'm just getting ready to lock up, Jeff.
Okay. Is there anything else, Ed? I mean, it's a perfect opportunity, Ed, to endorse your underwear brand and anything else. But whose bike was that you're working on in the background? Is that yours?
Straightening his out. We had a day out in Wales last week on the 2-strokes.
Hold on a second, Ed. That bike in the background, it stays in there all the time. So why you don't even ride it, do you?
Monthly day out. He had his monthly trip out.
I got goaded into a day out with Billy, and then now I've had to straighten radiators. God knows what else.
He gets too excited for himself. He can't help himself. He
loves it. I tell you what, he's fully into the sport, is Eduardo. Look, how did you feel being back behind the camera the other night, Ed? Are we gonna? Is that got the old juices flowing again? Or are you gonna do any more of them, or what?
We are actually behind the camera at the minute because we've got a 9-part vlog series of the track build that Billy's got on his YouTube channel, and then we've just been commissioned to film something for This Is Moto, the movie.
Oh,
so
have you?
Me and Willie,
E-Dub's back.
We'll be heading to Wales again, no doubt. Maybe up the Toon.
Oh, awesome!
Right.
That'd be good. Let us know when you're doing that. Then mainly because I just not to be, I'm not trying to get a guest part in the film. I'm not that vain.
Everyone's welcome.
Maybe Ed, maybe I can help you carry camera gear up the mountain or something. Just to.
Well, what we need test riders now because obviously I don't want my talent getting hurt.
No.
Otherwise, scratch the whole video. So if you could come and test a few bits.
I could do that, I mean, I'm well past my sell-by date, so you might as well use an old granddad stunt double. Just throw him down the hill. He's fine. That's good to go. Yeah, sounds good. That obviously I'll have a job to ride over a log about that high. To be honest,
oh, you're doing better.
You're being Tommy there. Tommy's got a mental block at even heading towards a log. He just doesn't understand that a human would want to ride his bike over it.
I tell you, Matt, I think it's actually generally difficult. You wouldn't. You'll find it easy. I went and did one of Monty's sprint enduros one year. Oh, yeah. Loved it. Loved every bit of it until I come to the rock section, which was a kind of like the super enduro bit. Honestly, yeah, you might as well. It was literally like I had never ridden a bike before in my life. It was so embarrassing. That's where everybody was watching. I just rode into the first rock. I couldn't even get through. I just gave up. To be fair, I was hungover quite heavily. So I'm using that as a legitimate excuse.
No, we'll let you off.
I'll have a go though. I'll come out riding.
Lads, we've got a track.
Hey, what about the bet? Anyone that can get from the balance beam to the tire?
Yeah, if you can get there's a line up here. We're going to have £100 on. If anyone else actually reckons they can do it, they can come and have a go.
What's the challenge? Okay, hit us up. What's the challenge?
In the video, you'll see there's like a balance beam, long balance beam that turns into almost like a diving board, and then you've got to land on a tire.
It's massive,
but it's quite substantial in real life, to be honest. Obviously, everyone knows videos don't do it justice, but that's like it's pretty big.
Well, I'll tell you what. What about £50 if I do it just manually without a bike?
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh well, maybe I'll probably wait better to do that.
You're more than welcome for a day out.
I must come up there actually and see. I haven't been up to Ed's for quite a while. Come and have a look around that swanky workshop there.
Come and have a go. We ban people from here. Tommy's not allowed in here.
Tommy's not allowed in the barn.
Is he not? Well, then you know why? Yeah, because he's always pilfering stuff, I should imagine.
Well, just that. The tools go missing. There'll be banana skins on the floor. Just
exactly. Yeah. To be honest. Ban him from it. Listen, gents, I'll let you get on with whatever you got to do. Lock up shop, go and have a beer or whatever it is. Well, Billy's already had one. I'm going to open another one, actually. Good idea. And Billy, I shall see you at Hawkstone on Sunday. Until then, stay safe. You too, Eduardo. And we'll catch up then. Thanks for your time, mate. Appreciate that. And
no problem. Thank you very much.
See you at the weekend. Then we can come back next week and see actually how well you did. You'll be fine.
We'll have a roundup. Post-race report.
Post-race report. Actually, I will do that. I'll grab you at the end of the day, and you can do a little piece to camera and say how it was a doddle going 1-1. All right. I'm out of it. Right, you get out of it. I'll see you later. Thanks for your time, Billy.
Cheers,
Appreciate it. Oh, before you go, I just want to bring this up. This nice little comment from Stephen Palmer. There you go. Mega interview. He says you're a great ambassador and always got time for others. And a big hello from Christina Palmer. So there you go. Thanks, Steve. Nice one.
No
right.
Worries. Very much.
I'll see you at Hawkstone.
Cheers, Jeff.
For the rest of your evening. Okay. There you go. That's Billy. He goes off into the distance. I'm back. Right. That's pretty much it. Well, for this episode, I was going to talk. Obviously, I've got guests. If you're still out there, 45 of you still tuning in on this live show. Was going to talk about the Motocross of Nations, of course. And just basically talking about that, because we've just been told this week, only was it today or yesterday, that it's all being postponed, cancelled. So that's that. After all the excitement of Steve Dixon announcing that it was always to be confirmed anyway, obviously, but just like that, it seems like that's not confirmed, and that's it. So that's that. And the news, the good news, of course, that we have now got the British Championship. Jake Millwood. Tommy doesn't know what tools are. Valid point, Jake. He doesn't care, does he? But anyway, talking to there's Jake Millwood, the British Championship rider. He'll be at Hawkstone this weekend for the Michelin MX Nationals. But also news that the ACU British Championship looks like it's going to come back pretty soon, starting with a double header at Fox Hill, which would be interesting. Apparently, they're going to run it on the bank holiday weekend. Race on the, let me get this right, race on the Saturday, and then have the Sunday off to then completely revamp the circuit, which is a big challenge in itself. And then round two effectively will be on the Monday. So that's pretty cool. And then hopefully we are going to see 4 rounds of ACU British Championship action as well. So that's quite cool. I've just had a text message, actually. I'm gonna read it out. Of all things, live on air, am I? It's just it's a message of all people from Bob Buchanan from Oakley Riders UK. He's just basically said, he's just said, are you going to talk about the nations and the British Championship tonight? Because I'm stuck in memory services with no signal. Shame, because I don't want to miss it. Well, Bob, you are. Unfortunately, because we were just given a little mention about it. So there we go. But that's the big news of today anyway, regards of the ACU announcement. So keep an eye out on that on mxgb.co.uk and obviously all their social media. So it looks like we are going to get a bit of a race season up together, finally. We've got the MX Nationals this weekend. So fingers crossed, we're going to have 4 rounds of MX Nationals racing and 4 rounds of the ACU British Championship. So I hope that happens, but we're off to Hawkstone this weekend. Keep following us on Dirt Hub. We're going to be doing a load of updates from Hawkstone over the weekend. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in again. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Billy Bolt. We're back in 2 weeks' time with another guest or guests Thursday at 8 o'clock fortnightly. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Everybody stay safe. Do your face coverings. Do whatever you've got to do to make yourself and other people safe. And we'll see you at a racetrack soon. I'm going to sign off right there, but I'm going to put the logo up. I'm going to take me off. There we go.